Hello, this is your DIY assistant. There is a very big question going on. Why are some cars more reliable to drive, but not fun to drive? Why some are fun to drive, but are not reliable? Well. One single answer is not going to satisfy that question. So in this very episode here, I want you to fasten your seatbelt because I'm going to be telling you all you need to know about this very topic right here. Now, one thing I want you to understand here is this motorbike which I have right here with my racing suit is RF 900, pretty much 98 or 98 model Suzuki. But this is one of Suzuki best, most reliable motorcycle ever. Does that make any sense? Now, if that doesn't make any sense, I want to let you know that back in that 98, 90s, cars that are actually made within those times are much more durable and much more reliable. So in those times, there are some certain competition which these manufacturers are doing, which is not based on market shares, but based on reliability. Now, for instance, this very motorcycle is built to race in MotoGP. So there is anything which Suzuki is going to take, but the last thing is to allow this motorbike to fail in MotoGP arena or circuit. So they are going to be, all hands is going to be on the deck to make sure that quality, everything stands out for quality, and therefore reliability is going to be a concern and high quality is going to be of a concern. Now let's compare that to the GXSR. Many problem which I'm seeing with this one has been discontinued and stopped right there. But like I said, many motorbikes from Suzuki, especially the GXSR, has way more problem I have never come across before. It's a newer model, of course, even despite the fact that you have the 98 model, and the reason there was a difference why there is a 98 model but still it's not durable, because some of those GSS are going to find a 400cc, you're going to find a 200, possibly cc, 250cc. I'm going to find a 600cc. I have a copy of a 600cc, 750, 1000. Those are not built for MotoGP racing, and therefore it's for street. So the quality, the reliability is not much of a concern, but market shares, how many pieces you want to sell, because the whole world is not watching, so the manufacturer can mess. The same thing applies to cars. Now for cars, most manufacturers are trying as much as possible to keep the cost down to be competitive. Now there are people on the other side who are not trying to make the car affordable. When we talk about people who are trying to make the car affordable and also keep a little bit of reliability in mind, we're talking about Honda, we're talking about Toyota, we're talking about Ford, right? Now these guys we're talking about here, they are not forefront in innovation, punchy technology, and cutting edge technology forefront. The people who are at the forefront are Volkswagen, Audi, Mercedes, BMW, and you name a lot of them, right? Dodge. Now, when you drive this car, when you drive Dodge Hellcat or Dodge Demon, and you drive Toyota, whichever model, you're gonna notice that there is a huge staggering difference between these two cars. One of this car is fun to drive, and the reliability is not a concern, while the other is not fun to drive, but it's reliable. Now, what is the trick behind the Toyota reliability? The reliability of the Toyota is simply put, Toyota is recycling their old technology back. They are making sure that anything they use on their car has been tested rigorously. And that is why you often don't see a lot of newer innovations, punchy technologies, cutting edge technology in their lines and fleet of models comparatively to Volkswagen, BMW, and the rest of them. And that is why you see that most Gen Zs are not really fan of Toyota. They are more fans of Audi and don't really care about the reliability. So why did I say that Toyota is a recycled technology? Because Toyota is basically fundamentally using their old parts. If you look at their shocks, their struts, the inner cup, the drive shafts, the CV joints, they are technically no much difference. You can say that about Audi. There is a lot of innovation being poured into Audi, Volkswagen cars. Now, if you look at Toyota engines and drivetrain, it's typically nearly the same. The 1.4 liters Camry, the Toyota 1.8 liters is just a little tip, just having right inside it. And when you go inside the interior settings of the most Toyotas, you're actually going to discover that it is made up of cheap materials, plastics, and other. Now, you're also going to discover that you should ask yourself, why is Toyota engines not why are Toyota engines not competent to handle turbos? Because, like I said, it's a simplified technology to keep the cost low. So, literally speaking, right, Toyota is not supposed to be expensive. It's supposed to be cheap. It's made cheap to be affordable. But due to the loss of economic increase in demand, increases price is what is actually driving the Toyota cars cost going up high. Now, if you compare that to Honda Civic, the Toyota Corolla, you see there is astronomical difference. A lot of people are charging their Civic, but how many people, on a scale of 1 to 100, how many people are you actually seeing who are charging their Toyota cars? It's literally near to zero. So you're not seeing that downsizing of the engine with turbo in Toyota engines and Toyota models the way you see it very much often, like 80% of most cars of Audi fleet and Volkswagen fleet or BMWs, all right? You're not seeing twin turbo, you're not seeing a supercharged in Toyota cars. We're not talking about a GR Toyotas, no. We're talking about regular Toyota. So in that regard, you will understand that the technologies, the tech marvels who are at the forefront racing to bring a newer technology into their cars don't have time to really evaluate every single component on their car about reliability. And these cars have a whole world full of electronics. And that is why most of the cars are termed unreliable electronics. So the game changing which Toyota is using to win the reliability race is using older technology. Like in Volkswagen, you're gonna see like 2007 Volkswagen Jetta using EPS, electric power steering. But you see that innovation start coming in 2012 Toyota. So Toyota has to really wait that long to test if it is reliable before putting it in the car. Because if you look at the electronic structure, the structural forms of their stems of their electronics and electrical, it is simplified. You see the PCM, a combination of a transmission control module and the ECU, which fails most often times, right? Unlike that of Volkswagen. Volkswagen have the TCM different and the ECU different. The same goes with Mercedes, BMW, and the rest of other tech giants who are at the forefront of innovation and cutting-edge technology. So those other guys, like we said, you can have it both ways. When it comes to hardware parts like the struts, the shocks, the motor mounts, the bushings, the inner cups, inner CV shafts, the transmission system, you can bet very pretty much that the way the Volkswagen shifts when you drive it is more like a dream. It shifts without you noticing it. You don't feel any hiccups. You don't feel that sensation when you drive into it. So that's the difference. So these other guys who are at the forefront of technology and investing heavily in R&D development and coming out with spectacular newer innovations, their car have most oftentimes electronic issues because there are two-way many technologies involved here. If you want to know or get a broader spectrum of what I'm talking about here, is try to look at the cockpits of Toyota and compare that with BMW, Volkswagen, and Audi, and you see that there's a whole world of difference. Now take a look at the interior settings like the dashboard, the door panels, internal door panels of Toyota and Honda. You see that there's a whole lot of difference in their settings right there. So the difference, and in that speaks volume, that one is way cheaper, and that is why their dashboards and is depleting very much faster, like that of Camry and Toyota models. Toyota models compared to Honda. Honda makes a very sleeky interior designs, and you can't do sleeky interior designs with cheap materials. It has to be high quality. Now, when you talk about the electronics, most of the problem why most Africans don't like VW is because of electrical issues. And the reason there is because also that these guys, for instance, let me put this clear to you guys. If you guys don't understand how astronomical VWs and European cars are far from Toyota, you can go in 2014 Toyota Camry, if your ABS control module failed and just got Noah from off the shelf or junkyard and install it straight right there and start working. But you don't do that in 2007 Volkswagen Jetta. You've got to program that ABS control module because there are a lot of systems that is using it. The radio system is using it. The transmission system is using it as its own VSS, variable speed sensors, and using it also at the control module to communicate with the engine electronics or the engine management, which you call your ECM, to communicate effectively on how the volume of the car stereo should be when you're on a higher motion. So we're talking about punchy technology and forefront cutting edge technology, but you don't see that in Toyotas. You don't see that in Toyota. So that is why some cars are fun to drive and others are not fun to drive, but they are reliable. I hope this satisfies your curiosity or question about why some cars are more reliable than others. Now, to cap it all, I want you to take this for a moment. Between 1993 to 2000, Volkswagen has rolled out about nearly to 12 different engines for their models, different varieties. Now, we can't say the same with Toyota. Toyota is just fiddling between just about 4 engines. The V6, you hardly see the V6 on Volkswagen car. They are pretty much doing engine downsizing, and a lot of them equipping it with turbo to enhance the performance as much as the fuel economy. But Toyota is trying to use cheaper technology to achieve the same thing using VVTi, variable valve timing, EGR valve to attain the fuel economy and a lot of other components, but not the newer, but that is not inclusive turbo or other downsizing engines. So you'll find that most Toyota engines are V6. And if it is 4-cylinder, it's having 2.7 liters. You will never see 2.4 liter Volkswagen engine. That is 4 cylinders. You will see 2.5 and it's 5-cylinder. Odd engines. You see the VR6, it is downsized engine. You see the 1.4 liter or 1.2 liter TSI engine. It's a downsized engine. It is a forefront technology. So in those cases here, you will even find a situation where mechanics are finding it hard, coming everywhere trying to time a TSI engine. That is how complexity and how complicated newer technology engines are. And these are the setbacks that make this car not so reliable. But when it comes to something here, which I want to bring to your knowledge before I go, is if it comes to strut, ball joints, inner cups, drive shafts, well, Toyota are making quite terrible of this very part because before, when Toyotas are replacing 5 of their struts, the VW haven't replaced 1. Not only VW, Peugeot, Mercedes, BMW, and all that. Now, I also want to bring this to your understanding that if you look at most of the Toyota models, most of their motor pumps is the manual motor pump. But you go to BMW, why most people are running away from BMW, especially the newer class, X's, S-Class, 3 series, these newer models have electric motor pump that can fail at any time, and it is very pricey. And now most of their motor pump, water pump or coolant pump is made up of fiber, which a lot of people are complaining that BMW is not using plastics to make their engine. So big guys who are into this game don't so much care about reliable. They are competing about who is bringing a newer technology and slicker car and punchy car and fun to drive car. Why Toyotas and Honda is competing about, no, Honda is not even so much competing about reliable. Honda is competing about both reliability and fun to drive. So guys, if you have a different opinion from what I've given you right now, go ahead and drop it in the comment section. But motorbike which I'm having right here now is a typical example of what I'm talking about right here, because this is a reliable motorbike compared to the GXSR model. And the difference there is that as the year comes, I just explained it to you guys at the first front of this very video here that you can have both, where in the newer models there is a different specification which these very people are looking at, why in the older model there is a different inspiration behind how they engineer the motorbikes. And those are driven by the choices, the places where this very motorbike are used. Like this one here in the MotoGP, why the GXSR is a street and home bike. So you should be expecting much more problem in those ones that are not being watched by the whole world than the one that's being watched by the whole world. So guys, thank you for watching. I hope to see you some other times. Bye for now.